Oh. Oh. Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. As everyone has begun celebrating Thanksgiving, I'm giving my thanks to all of you. When I press live on this phone to get Instagram going, I feel so much excitement as everyone's joining in through Instagram. Many of them request to be in this video. I have no idea why they're making that request, but they are making that request. And then seeing all of you with your cameras on, everyone's taking notes, and also on Facebook. People sharing their greetings and their reflections. Meaningful Mornings is a lovely excitement. There's some excitement that's not lovely, like when you're having a party at your home and everyone's gonna come and you have to work hard and clean up. This is a lovely excitement. Our exploration of Bhagavad Gita reminds me of, I was visualizing this weekend, like watching a movie with a director's cut. When you're watching a movie with the director's cut, he is speaking along the way, saying, you may not have noticed this, or this is why the soundtrack is like this. Our director is Sri Krishna. And he's supported by Puja Swami Chinmayananda, Puja Swami Tejomayananda. I am only their assistant, the one who brings coffee, the one who presses record, and so on. We are lucky to have access to this director's cut. This is not a discourse series. This is our life. That we get to flow through Bhagavad Gita in a slow, systematic method. I'd asked all of you to visualize verse 23 as a sort of window shopping. Like in a movie where someone goes from rags to riches, correct? When they become rich, then they buy that coat or that purse. How we can become rich internally. The word pandita is the one who collects contentment, is through verses 24 to 30. If we want verse 23 to describe us, we have to practice verses 24 to 30. These verses are about yajna. A yajna has two components. The first is arpana buddhi. You just have to remember arpana. In English, this means dedication. The second, which naturally gets pulled, evoked, is prasada buddhi. Many times, prasada buddhi is described as cheerful acceptance or choiceless cheer. I'm sharing this with all of you that prasada means sacrifice. That one does not even know what they're sacrificing because one is completely dedicated. That's why I shared prasada naturally comes. If I don't know what I'm sacrificing, I am going to be cheerful. I am going to be accepting. That is a deeper, more authentic appreciation of prasada. And just to play with language, those who are engaged in arpana, or dedication, they will also be engaged in aparna. You just move a few letters around and it becomes aparna. Aparna means the one without leaves. This is a name for Bhagavati Parvati, that at one point she even gave up eating. Why? Because she was that dedicated to Bhagavan Shiva. Is everyone feeling that connection? If there's arpana, there will be aparna. Being dedicated does not mean being dexterous. We often associate that person is so dedicated based on their aptitude, that they're good at this or good at that. What Sri Krishna is sharing with us, this is a buddhi. Buddhi means a feeling. It is an intent. It is your attitude, not your aptitude, that decides what a yajna is. Share differently, you do not have to change what you're doing. I said not. All that we need to change is why we are doing. I'd shared with a young parent yesterday who is going through a tough time because they're raising an infant for the first time. And she was sharing that I don't have time to read, to write, to reflect. So what should I do? I shared with her that instead of raising your child as your child, raise your child as God's child. That will transform you and all that comes out of you. There's such a difference between treating one's family as one's family and treating one's family as a divine gift, opportunity, sadhana. What has to change? Nothing. Why has to change? Sri Krishna is sharing these yajnas with Prince Arjuna, with us, so that we're practicing in any and every context. This is a subjective science, which means there cannot be complaints, blaming, annotating why one is not practicing. Any and every context. In a yajna, the important part of this framework, the offerer is the ego, and why is existence. That the ego is supposed to, as if, reach existence, become existence. How will this happen? Through yajna. This dedication is a path of evolution from ego to existence. In verse 24, we tuned into drishti yajna. The offerer is infinite. The offering is infinite. The offered is infinite. Why? Infinity. This is the vision that we are to practice. We are to finally be established in. In verse 25, Devam eva apare yajna. Others engage in the yajna to the devas. Who does this? Yogina paryupasate. Yogis perform this. The deva yajna is when the sense objects are offered to the sense organs. Sense objects, sense organs. The fact that the word yogi is used implies that they would never engage in dedication to the devas like Indra, Vayu, these semi-gods. A yogi is one who knows how to evolve, So their evolution is not external, but all that they're experiencing through their sense organs to feel that this too is an opportunity to evolve. I've shared with all of you in different words how to practice this yajna. Direct your senses. Instead of being controlled by the senses, you direct your senses. And the most lovely way to direct the senses? In service. Serve the community, society, and so on. Also in verse 25, the next line, Brahmagnau apare yajna. And others, their yajna is in the fire of Brahman. Yajnena eva upajuhvati. They perform this through yajna alone. These are a lot of technical arrangements. For us, this is called the Brahma Yajna. Brahma Yajna. Here, Atma is offered to Brahma. Atma means that which is closest. Right now, for all of us, what is closest is the ego. Here, Atma means ego. That is offered to Brahma, which is existence. Everyone's clear about that? Ego to spirit is what I had shared on Friday. I'm not saying the spirit's offered to the spirit. What's the point of that? Atma is what I feel I am right now. What I feel I am right now is the ego. That is offered to the infinite. And this requires intense strength. Imagine what the ego would have to be trained in for it to dismantle itself. This requires a full-time practice to nurture such strength. My prayers to all of you are always, be steady, be sincere, be strong. Next, we're on verse 26 now. There's one yajna shared here. Shrotraadinindriyan yanye samyamagnishu juhvati shabdadin vishayan anye indriyagnishu juhvati. Shrotraadini, which means hearing, etc. That includes seeing, touching, etc. Indriyani, all of the organs of knowledge, all of the organs of perception. Anye, others use these. Samyama agnishu juhvati. This sacrifice involves these organs put in the fire of discipline. I'm simply translating words for you right now. Here is the implication. This yajna is called Indriya Yajna. The word Indriya means that which illuminates for us. My eyes illuminate forms for me. And samyama means discipline. Many of these yajnas revolve around samyama, which means discipline, well directed. So the idea here is, an earlier yajna was the sense objects into the sense organs, correct? Now this is becoming more expansive. The sense organs are offered into discipline. The offering, the sense organs. The offered, discipline. And the next line is has already been covered. Shabdadin, which means sounds, etc. Vishayan anye. The sense objects, others use the sense objects, and where is it offered? Indriya agnishu juhvati, into the sense organs. This we've already covered. So no need to think too much about, about this. This is simply Deva Yajna that's shared again. Okay? So a quick review. Drishti Yajna. Next is Deva Yajna, sense objects into sense organs. Number 3, Brahma Yajna, the ego to the spirit. And now number 4, the sense organs into discipline. Can you all be a pujari and facilitate such a yajna? Of course you can. Be disciplined. That's all. Yeah, that's all, Vivekji. From inspiration to application. Your application from Friday was to think, speak, and say, my food is nature. I'm sorry. Yes, my food is nature, my body is nature, my mind is nature. I feel natural by remembering all is nature. How many of you tried this? Good. If you did this, I feel this meaning makes what you're doing a yajna. All that is meaningful is a yajna. See how easy it is to engage in a yajna? You don't have to change your clothes. You don't have to change your name. You don't have to change anything, but infuse meaning. Here is your application for this morning. I was in India and I was at someone's home, and in their home, they had this top 10 list on how to be happy. And most of these lists that I see, they tend to be tacky. But there was one point, it was the 6th point, which I appreciated very much. I'm sharing this with you. Rarely will you regret under-eating. Rarely will you regret under-eating. I want you to reflect on that and try to practice that today. Overeating, we consistently and constantly regret. Rarely do we regret, will you regret, under-eating. Reflect on this and practice this. Shanti, shanti, shanti. Be safe, be sound, be serene, be happy.